Party people, what's crack-a-lackin'? What's cracking in this mug? My daughter's elbow. That's what's cracking. She just thought she was gonna stand on one of their little kid recliners and it wasn't gonna pop open and squish her whole half of her body like in between the wall and the chair. She thought that wasn't gonna happen, but it did. So I figured I have some time here and I haven't done an Ask Sarah in a hot minute. Much like Dear Factor and Let's Talk About Sex, I haven't done anything in a hot minute, so here I am. I've gone through these every time you guys send me stuff to my AskSarahVargas@gmail.com email address, which are the emails that I answer in this video series. I always star the ones that I think are like a good, you know, email to answer in these particular videos. So don't think that just because you sent it 3 weeks ago, it won't ever be in a video or something. It still will be because I do star them as I read them and go through them. So let's start with this one. Let's see. So this is from a young lady named Joaquin Phoenix. And you'd like that? Joaquin Noah, Joaquin Phoenix, you see? No? Okay, never mind. Actually, it's from a girl. She said, I'm a 20-year-old girl who's never had sex, dated, or been in a real relationship. I feel really insecure about this because usually boys are the ones who can't find someone to have a relationship with. Okay. I'm really awkward around boys, and I want to know if it's normal for a girl to be awkward and not have any prior dating or sexual experiences. Other girls my age have told me it's very weird that I haven't done it. They sound like bitches. I want to have sex, but I don't even know how to get a guy's thing into mine. She has quotes around that. Or how to insert a toy, or even how to get a guy's attention. If you put my... Yes, you are very, very anonymous here, Joaquin. So, to answer the question that I found inside of this, no, it's not weird for you to not have experience, you know, prior dating or sexual experience, as you put it. It's not weird because we all have that at some point. No one's born knowing how to have sex. No one's born having a dating experience or history. It's normal. You're 20 years old. That's really not that far into the whole dating, you know, scene. You're not basically you haven't even been of age for very long. And people telling you that it's weird, I don't know if they're your friend. You didn't call them your friends. You said other girls my age. So maybe just like let's not hang around those girls that are trying to make you feel bad for not having had sex yet. Now, you also said that you think it's hard for boys. You said it's usually boys are the ones who can't find someone to have a relationship with. Okay, so I think having a relationship and having sex, those are two different things. They can be, you know, all intertwined together. However, they are two different things. So if you're looking to be in a relationship, I wouldn't be so nervous and concerned about sex because the first step is the relationship. So dating, I mean, it can be a little bit awkward, but when you find someone that you have things in common with, that you have fun with, you know, it's not going to be so awkward dating them. Might you bump your teeth when you go to kiss the first time, and maybe you'll say something, you know, kind of odd or whatever. Like maybe you'll get embarrassed about this thing or that thing or whatever. Like, yeah, those things might happen. But I don't think it's going to be like this awful, terrifying experience for you. Now, if it's the wrong person and you're dating someone that you really shouldn't be dating for, you know, any number of reasons, then sure, that probably has the potential of going very, very, very wrong. But if you're dating someone that you have things in common with, that you're excited to be around, that, you know, you guys click somehow, some way, somewhere, and you decided to progress into dating each other, then that could obviously, potentially, progress into having, you know, becoming a relationship. And then in the relationship, once you're comfortable with each other, which it doesn't sound like you're trying to go out and meet a guy and sleep with him. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But that didn't, yeah, that's not the tone I got from the email. So if then you are in a relationship, then sex and intimacy and all of those things, those are going to come. And yes, they might be a little awkward at first, but if the person that you're with has any prior experience, or if they don't, I mean, they should be there to help you feel more comfortable, and you should be able to help them feel more comfortable just by being nice and just by being considerate and caring and thoughtful of the other person and what they might be thinking, what they're going through, you know, while you guys are going through these new experiences together. So I would say you really don't need to feel bad. There are plenty of people that are so much older than you that have not had sex, and I know I get emails from you guys on a regular basis that you're beating yourselves up because you're a 20-year-old virgin or a 25-year-old virgin or whatever it may be, but virginity is not something that there's like some ticking time bomb that you need to lose it. You know what I mean? It's just having sex for the first time. It's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. So have it, don't have it. Don't let it be something that you're constantly worried about though, or something that's really having a serious effect on your life. So yeah, with that said, just be safe. Keep it all wrapped up and protected and make sure everything's consensual and cool and safe, and it sounds like you'll have yourself a nice little party one of these days. So let's move on to the next one. Of course, if any of you guys ever have any suggestions on any emails that I'm answering, drop your suggestions, your comments, your stories down below, and I'm sure that person will definitely appreciate it. All right, here is the next one, and this one is from a man, and we're gonna call him Tom Riddle. He said, "Hi Sarah, sorry for that." He's apologizing for the semi-racist title, which it wasn't, but he said, "You may end up finding my entire email offensive." I don't. So let me just move on to the rest of it actually. He said that his wife watches my videos and so that's how he found me and so on and so forth. And then he said that he watched the video that I posted not that long ago talking about viral videos and fat shaming and everything. And then he said that he wanted to talk about another aspect of it, which was shaming the men who find plus size women attractive. So he says, "I am what our society would call a chubby chaser. To me, this label is ridiculous since I find all varieties of women attractive, but my attraction to bigger women is one that stands out as something to be judged. I'm willing to bet that most men find all varieties of women attractive, but just as we'll be judged for liking things that aren't masculine, we'll be judged for liking bigger women." I agree. And then he linked an article. "I know you may think it sounds ridiculous that this would even be something a man would complain about given all the pressures that society puts on bigger women, but I believe this is a real issue that affects the women we love, and I think it would be great if you addressed it in one of your posts. I spent years feeling ashamed of my girlfriend's weight," who is now his wife, "and it's not at all something I'm proud of. I actually postponed proposing to her because I was hoping she would lose weight." What an asshole. "Something she struggled with her entire life. It took a pep talk from a close friend to shut that line of thinking down, but I'm still embarrassed by her weight. But I still felt embarrassed by her weight for some time. I would try to encourage her to stick to diets and exercise, etc. without shaming her overtly, but I know I ended up shaming her indirectly with my behavior anyway." You know what? Shout out to you for being self-aware, Mr. Tom Riddle, and actually knowing the things that you do can still, you know, like when people try to, "Oh, you're not fat, but oh, let's go to the gym anyway." You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I've encountered a lot of grown-ass men that have indirectly fat shamed me, people that I was seeing, dating, whatever, and they're like, "Well, I don't even feel bad, like, I'm not even mad at how much you weigh, da-da-da-da-da," but then they come back and they give me like this backhanded ass comment. Like, shout out to you for actually being self-aware, because that is not something everyone possesses. Self-awareness, the more you know. Okay, let me be clear. I know that I was the problem, and I despise the fact that I ever felt this way. I know I was an asshole, but I didn't have anyone to teach me otherwise. So that's the intent of me emailing you, to perhaps teach guys like me not to be assholes. Hey, for sure, and tell your friends. To teach guys like me that it's okay to be attracted to what you're attracted to. So back to the question. Yes, there was a long intro here, but I wanted to give you guys a little backstory on this particular guy because I really like this email, and I actually answered this one email in an entire video that was out of focus, and so now I want to kind of give it a little bit of shine in this. I'm not going to redo the whole video, but okay, back to the question. Why is it that black guys seem to have the monopoly on liking bigger women? I think I finally know the answer, and I think it's the same answer that's given you the power to ignore haters and be comfortable in your own skin. The answer is because they own it. They aren't ashamed by it. They don't give a shit if they're being judged. That's a sweeping generalization, but to me, that's ultimately what it comes down to. As soon as you're ashamed of something, you give power to bullies and tormentors around you to make fun of it. If you own it and embrace it, then there's nothing anyone else can say to make you feel shameful, and the bullies move on. I completely agree. So finally, I pulled my head out of my ass years later. I'm no longer ashamed of my taste in women, but it took a long time and a lot of mental re-engineering. My wife is gorgeous, and she gave me a beautiful son who wouldn't exist if I let that shame get the best of me. So I don't think I'm alone in this, and I'm willing to bet that there are guys out there who are making their significant others' lives shitty because of this domino effect of shame. If you read this far, thanks, Tom. So, all right. The actual question there, basically, what she actually answered himself was, sorry, let me find it. why is it that black guys seem to have a monopoly on liking bigger women? And I think the answer is, it's basically what he said, because black guys do own it. So basically, if you're a plus size girl and, you know, and you're watching this video, you can probably relate, right? Because I grew up in an area where there were a lot of Hispanics, and then there were, it's an urban area and it's a poor area. So there were a lot of Hispanics, and there were also a lot of black people. So there were white people, but just not that many. And then, I mean, my family was mixed, so we're white, but we were, you know, we're half Mexican. So I never had a problem relating and fitting in and everything else. But when I grew up a little bit, when my parents kind of got a little better at what they were doing in life and things kind of started falling into place a little bit more, we picked up and moved out of that city, and we moved into another city, which is really, really close. I didn't like leave, but basically, as I started growing up, I realized that, you know, I was coming into contact with more and more white guys, and none of them ever gave me the time of day. And I think because I was raised and I was brought up in an area where there were a lot of Hispanic and black males, and I'm attracted to males, only the Hispanic and black males were ever the ones to give me the time of day. Like, they were the only ones to ever come out and say, like, yes, like, give me approving comments and, you know, catcall me and shit like that. Things that as a teenager I was like, yeah, look at that guy telling me I got a nice ass. Look at him, he's shouting that across the street. Thank you, boo. You know, I have low self-esteem. Thank you, you just made my week, right? So, you know, it helped a teeny tiny bit, but that's not the kind of attention that you really want. It's just when you're young and you're growing up and you're insecure and you're fat and you think, well, I get what I deserve, and if all I get is a kind of a gross old homeless dude across the street, like, shouting obscenities at me, but, you know, rounding it out with, yeah, but you got a nice ass though, like, you know, okay, well, that's good too. So basically, my point here is that I grew up around those types of people. I didn't really grow up around white guys, but I noticed once I did become a little bit more of an adult, right? I got a little bit older, and I did start spending more time around white people, and I, you know, started going places where there were more white males. I realized that none of them ever talked to me, approached me, or anything like that. Like, I wasn't even in the room. I might as well have been invisible most of the time. And if I wasn't invisible, they were looking at me in a disapproving way. And so it dawned on me, I thought, like, hey, I could be kind of appealing to all kinds of guys. No. That wasn't the case. I was not appealing to white males, and I went essentially my whole life feeling like I have not ever been appealing to white males. And I dated my first white guy ever that I dated was like a year ago. Met him online. He saw my shit online, so I already had YouTube and everything. He saw me online, whatever, we started talking. That's kind of how we went about it. And he was not necessarily into bigger women. In fact, I think I was the only, like, bigger woman that he ever dated. I don't know, I didn't go into all of that. We did date for a while, but frankly, when you get old enough, you kind of stop caring who the people, you know, who they dated before you. Like, I'm not tripping about it, I don't care. You could be seeing her every day still, I ain't worried about it. You know what I mean? But I was someone that he considered to be, like, I think he used the word exotic once, and I was like, boo, I'm not exotic, I'm Mexican. But okay, thank you. I'm like, but you know, he was so white that to him being Mexican was exotic. So he was the first white male that ever actually, like, approached me and was like, hey, you look good, da 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 da. And so to answer this guy's question, basically, and to say, like, why do black males have the monopoly there, and why is it that when you think of, like, a, you know, or why is it that when you see a plus size girl, a lot of times you will see her with a black man, is because 100% they own it, because they are not ashamed of what they like. Because, I mean, black people are oppressed in a million different ways. If they can at least come out and like, I mean, what's the harm at that point in liking a fat girl? They already have everything else against them. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get crazy into everything else, because I know half of y'all motherfuckers out there are racist, and anytime I post something on Instagram that has anything to do with race, you guys show your ass, and I can't handle it. I don't want all that negativity right now on this particular video. But they own it. They truly own it. They come out and they say, yeah, like, I find her attractive and she's a size 2, and I think she's bad as fuck too, and she's a size 20. You know what I mean? So they do own it. And so I think that is why you will see a lot of plus size girls with black guys or with Hispanic guys. I mean, the same thing for me for Hispanics. Like, I've noticed that as well, that first of all, my family, like all my Mexican family, the women are a little bit bigger and the guys are tiny. Like, they're so thin. So for me, like, that's just what I grew up with. That's just what made sense. So for me, like, when a Hispanic guy hit on me or tried to date me, or you know, I was boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever with one, it was no big deal. That was just normal. That was just everyday. Like, okay, so Hispanic guy likes me, duh, like, what else? I'm big, he's small, but this is life. Like, this is what I grew up doing. So, and you know, the kid's dad, you may not know, may or may not know, but the kid's dad is a black male. So, it was nice. When I was with him, it was so nice to be with someone that was not ashamed of the way that I looked, and also was just very open and honest that he liked big girls. It wasn't a fetish. There's a difference between like a sexual fetish and just having a preference. When you have a sexual fetish, first of all, fetish is, a lot of times, I believe like the original meaning of all that was like getting, you know, sexual gratification from something that was not sexual to begin with, basically. So from a lamp, right? Like from whatever. Or having, or getting to a point where if this thing is not involved, you cannot reach like orgasm. You cannot have a satisfying sexual experience without this one factor. So I assure you, you know, these dudes, they could have a satisfying sexual experience without a plus size girl. They could do it with a average size girl. They could do it with, you know, whatever, someone smaller than average, whatever it may be. So it's not a fetish. It just happens to be a preference. It's something that they like, something that they enjoy. So that, I think, is the reason why black males are the ones that you really think of when you think of, oh, who's dating the fat girls? It's a black guy. I mean, and that's why we have all these pretty ass little mixed babies. Like, I'm about it. I'm all about it. Come to me, black men. Come to me. You guys know I'm single, right? What's up? Pew, pew, pew. What's up? What's up? All right, anyway. Let me know your thoughts on that down below, because I'd love to get you guys' input. And I know I was kind of all over the place with that particular answer, but there's so much to say, and there were so many other things in that email that I wanted to touch on, and I did it in that other video, but that video was all out of focus, so I didn't upload it. All right, let's do one more, a nice little quickie. All right, this last email is from Shakira, let's call her. And she says, to make a very long story short, I fell in love with this guy. He ended up one day completely ignoring me out of nowhere, and then he never spoke to me again. And at the time, my best friend she was dating like this guy's close friend, and basically said that he said he decided not to pursue me anymore because he wants someone thin and I'm not. And I understand that everyone has their preference and stuff. I guess I just didn't think that it would still be affecting me today. After time has passed, I realize it still hurts me a lot. I think I'm noticing that my mentality changed after that. Like I've said, the idea that no one will ever love me then because I had this idea that no one will ever love me then because he didn't want me because of my size, and I've gained weight since then, so there's no hope for me at all. It's not all the time that I feel this way, but probably more often than not. And I always hear plus size beauty bloggers and stuff saying that no guy is going to reject you just because of your size or whatever, but my question is, what if they do? Absolutely not. I don't think I've ever said that no guy is going to reject you because of your size. I think my particular stance on that is let them reject you. That's not the guy for you. You know what I mean? People are going to reject you because of your size. People are going to make you feel shitty because of your size. Society as a whole, generally, they still don't like fat people. In fact, they hate fat people. They hate fat people. I feel like fat people, like, being fat is just this very obvious thing, right? Like, you can see fat. You can't necessarily see someone who is a liar and a cheater or a gambler or addicted to this or addicted to that or beats his wife or beats his children or whatever. You can't necessarily see all of the other awful things that someone can be, right? You can't just see it. You can't just look at them and know it. But fat, you can see. Black, you can see. And so as things like that, things that you can see, those are the things that get called out the most, because you can't see my health, but you can see that I'm fat. And so you think you know, but you have no idea. This is the true life of Sarah Rae Vargas. All right, sorry, I was getting off topic there. But absolutely not. People will reject you. Dudes will reject you. Guys are, you know, there's lots of guys that are assholes. There are lots of girls that are assholes. You know, whatever. But those people are not the people for you. And unfortunately, you caught feelings for this guy. And it seems like he was interested in you too. And maybe what happened is that someone made him feel bad about what he liked. And if you were what he likes and you're a plus size girl and someone made him feel shitty, he might just be too insecure and at a place in his life where truly he's just not secure enough to say, this is what I like, this is who I want to be with. And that's unfortunate, but that's not something that you are going to fix. That's not something that you can make him feel better about. That's something that he needs to come to terms with. Or, maybe, I don't really know the situation, maybe he just thinks that it's gonna be easier for him in his life if he dates a thin person. Hey, all the fucking power to you. That's not the kind of person that you want to be with, okay? So it's unfortunate that you felt all this heartbreak and that you had to go through all of this. But ultimately, it sounds like this guy was really not the one for you. This is not the person that's gonna make you feel happy. And that's really what you should be looking for in a relationship. Something where you are benefiting them and they are benefiting you. You should all come out of it feeling better and having good things happen because of it. Not a bunch of heartache and feeling bad and feeling like, all kinds of other bad things. So just know that there are people that are going to reject you based on your weight, and there are people that are not going to reject you based on your weight. So that person is out there somewhere. It might not be the right time for you to find that person. You sound like you have a lot of issues with yourself and your body right now. And so I wouldn't even suggest opening yourself up to a relationship until you feel better about yourself. You need to fix the relationship that you have with yourself before you try to bring someone else into the situation. Because it's just not a good basis for a not a 2-on-2, but a 1-on-1 relationship. You need to fix yourself before you can try. What is that from? I need to be a better 1 before I'm a part of 2. Damn it, what is that from? I'm sorry. One of you guys knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, I want you to know that there is someone out there for you, and that's not something that you should worry about, because that person will present themselves at some point. You will come across that person at some point. And having a positive mentality and being happy and feeling good about yourself is a lot more likely to bring that person to you than feeling bad about yourself, than harping on this other person where, obviously he wasn't the guy for you, than having negative thoughts about yourself. You're never gonna, I don't want to get into everything else because I know that I put this in a bunch of other videos, but you really can't have that happy, positive relationship until you feel that way about yourself. So start with you, fix that, work on that, and then open yourself up to the possibility of someone else coming in. But yeah, that's all I have to say. So if any of you guys have any advice or suggestions or anything that you want to add to this, go for it. And if not, that's the end of my video, baby.